Good morning and welcome to today's information session. We're briefly explaining what it means when previous NAV versions leave mainstream and extended support. After that, we go through the reasons to upgrade to D365 Business Central. Then we explain the whole upgrade process. Please ask any questions using the chat box throughout, and we will answer them at the end. Our expert today is Snehanshu Mandal, who has been in the Dynamics field since 2002. He's also a Microsoft readiness trainer, so he's very familiar with Microsoft solutions. I'll hand you over to Snehanshu now for his insights. Thank you, Snehanshu.
Thanks, Scott, and welcome to all to our another session, Ask the Expert about the upgrade. And we are taking these sessions in the context that NAV 2017 has gone out of the mainstream support from the Microsoft. So what should we, those customers who are in NAV 2017 or in the earlier versions, they are all out of the mainstream support. So what next for them? So today's discussion will have that background besides the upgrade process. So just for your informations, NAV 2017 till NAV 2016 was already out of the mainstream support last year, and NAV 2017 ended its mainstream support on 11th January, just like 2 weeks back, 11th January 2022. So what exactly that means to all the customers who are using NAV 2017 or the earlier versions of Navision? So once this support goes, yes, you will be able to use Navision. That's for sure. That's not a problem. Only thing that if Microsoft is coming out with a new feature, that feature will not be released for NAV 2017 or the earlier versions of Navisions. So if you see now the last versions of Navision, which is still in the mainstream support, that is NAV 2018. So any new feature released by Microsoft will be released for NAV 2018 and the subsequent versions, but not for NAV 2017 or the earlier versions. So this can be new feature, and there can be a situation that there is some statutory changes in the country and the software need to be changed from that perspective. And this is very important if you in context to UK customers actually, because we had Brexit, we are in the process of settling down, and there can be some changes in the statutory requirements, and the software may need some changes regarding that context. So from that perspective, those changes or the service packs, if released by Microsoft, will not be released for NAV 2017 or the earlier version of Navisions. But it will continue to get the security patches, security updates, if any, from Microsoft for another 5 years. So what next for you? As I said, you can still remain where you are. It's fine, but there is a risk of not being supported in terms of statutory requirements or the new features released by the Microsoft, or you can move to the upgrade, move to the Business Central with all its benefits. And possibly this is the right time and or the good time to move to the Business Central, because there are a lot of incentives, license incentives from Microsoft, and the more delay you delay your upgrade, possibly that will increase your upgrade cost as well. We will discuss this few points in more details. And the good part is that if you take that plunge and upgrade it, because the technological changes, because the advent of extension in Business Central, you will remain upgraded. You will never spend this like the way you are going to spend the service cost you are going to incur for upgrading NAV to Business Central, or earlier the way you have spent money for upgrading Navision earlier versions to the newer version. That's a brilliant thing changed in Business Central, the technology. Because of this change in the technology and the extension concept brought in, you literally will remain upgraded always, automatically. So how does all this work? There can be several questions in your mind, and I try to summarize those things here. If you see, you may possibly have questions about what happens to your existing license. You have what the perpetual license is, are you going to discard them, and what happens to them? So we'll discuss about those aspects. There is a possibility that you already have invested heavily in customizations and development in your existing instance of Navision. We'll discuss what happens to those customizations. Can they be migrated to the newer system or not? And what are the data migration options you have? Now, possibly there can be situation that you are using Navision, say last 3 years, 5 years, or more than that. You have considerable amount of data in your database. So what exactly, can I take all the data, or you need to start afresh with the opening balances? We'll discuss them as well here. We also will discuss briefly whether you should, whether it will be beneficial for you to stay on premise, or you can move to cloud or SaaS. And finally, the bottom line. Obviously, everything depends on cost. So how much does the upgrade cost? Any upgrade cost? Can we have a upgrade? Have a estimation of the upgrade cost without even starting the process? So yes, we will also discuss about the same, and we also talk about how we come out with that estimation for our customer completely free of cost. If you come tomorrow with your case, we can just simply analyze your current instance data and the various development and customizations you did, and we can come out with an analysis and estimations for you how much your upgrade will cost, and we will keep that analysis completely free of cost. Moving on. First thing first, before we jump into any other topics, a major change in the license. Till now, Navision uses a concept of concurrent licensing. Means you can have one license, and that license can be used by n number of users concurrently. So at any point of time, Navision will be bothered about, okay, one user are getting logged in the system. So whether that user is A, whether that user is B, whether that user is C, it will not be bothered about that. That thing is changing. So Business Central is, with the Business Central, the concept is the license becoming the named user based. Means if you have user A, B, C, and you want them to use the system, they need to have the license. Now you say, oh, that's an extra set of license actually, but for that, to mitigate that disadvantage actually, I say, when personally I feel this is a bit disadvantage for the people who are already using Navision. So Microsoft at this moment has a promo where they give you 3 times your existing license count. So just to give you an example, so let's say you have 10 users currently. If you migrate to Business Central and remain on premise, you will get 30 users, 3 times your current license count. So that way, possibly it will be good enough for you it will not really disturb your user count equations that 3 users can come in at the same time. So it just completely mitigate the concept change from the concurrent to the named license user base. And if you are moving to cloud or the SaaS, yes, you need to buy the new license. Your existing license will not help. You need to buy the new license. But the good part is that at this moment, you have a superb promo from the Microsoft where you can enjoy a 60% discount on that license. 60% discount. Now there is another aspect. Now still you say, oh, I still need to pay 40% license cost. I will come to this point later on, and I'll show you that that 40% what you pay for the SaaS, that actually is pretty much take care of a lot of other things, like you don't need to pay BRIP, unlike like you need to pay it in the on-premise. You don't need to spend for the infrastructure. You don't need to pay for the administration of the database and so on, because all those things will be included in the license price itself, because it will be hosted by the Microsoft, managed by the Microsoft. So you don't need to worry about all those things. So that way you will see that in most of the cases, except I believe there will be very rare chance where it will be profitable to be on premise. Most of the cases you will see that you will be beneficial if you move to the cloud or the SaaS. Moving on. So what exactly we do? So before I speak about the existing customization, existing data migration options, let me explain the upgrade process in very plain terms, how exactly we do the upgrade. And I'll not go into too much of technicalities. I'm not here to tell you need to write a code like that, you need to run a bad job here, not like that. I'll just try to explain you in very simple terms. So what I say normally into my team, an upgrade is not just plain mathematics. It's not that taking your database and converting it, and that's it. Not really. We do much more than that. Otherwise, you will not enjoy the new feature of the Business Central even after upgrading. So what we normally do in the process, we go for a workshop with your business users to understand how you use Navision currently. And accordingly, because a lot of things have changed between the way Navision works and the Business Central works. So accordingly, we create a plan how your existing workflows, existing way of working need to be mapped in the Business Central, and what are the things we should reconfigure or change when you move to a Business Central. So that way you will be your experience, end user experience using Business Central will be much more enhanced. Otherwise, if I just simply convert everything, your end user will be like using the same system. Only the look and feel of the screen will change. Not likely, not like that. We do much more than that. So your end user will truly experience the rich feature of Business Central when you migrate to Business Central from your existing NAV. So that's the one thing we do. We do a lot of workshops with your existing workshops with your business users and understand it. And then we compare. We don't really go by your words because you don't understand possibly from a business owner or from end user of Navision. Possibly you will not understand whether your system is customized anyway or not. Quite often, like something is very minor is changed and you will miss out. Maybe documentations are not there and you are not sure. So we don't go by anybody's word. We have a tool where we compare all your objects and we'll find out what exactly is modified in your system. And we'll come out with a report, and that displays, and we present that report to you, and that showcase what are the things changed in your system. And then we decide jointly that do you really need to migrate those changes, or you can live without them. There can be a situation, there are some exceptional things done in your system and you need to migrate them. And accordingly, we take charge of the thing and we decide a plan to convert those customizations to extensions. And afterwards, we do a sample data migration just to check everything is in place. And because we need to train your end user, and if I train your end user with a demo Business Central database, that will not work well. So that's why we convert or migrate your database, sample migrations, and then we go for a end user training. And then we decide on a cutoff date when you are ready. We go live with your system, and it's up to you whether you remain on-premise or you move to the SaaS. Now let's talk about these steps a little bit, just to give you an idea what happens in those steps. So first, we compare your objects and come out with a report, Excel report like this. I tried to explain it in this screen. You could see that an Excel report where all your modified, customized objects are listed, and accordingly, we have estimated how much effort is required to convert them to Business Central extensions. Now you could see we go for a steps called object conversion, and their base objects, the standard Navision becomes a standard Business Central, and all the customizations done on the standard objects and all the new objects created in the system, they're converted to extensions. And these two things, the base and the extensions, move to either on-premise Business Central or the cloud Business Central. So so your customizations, if you have done customizations, you don't need to worry about it. We can actually migrate your customizations to a Business Central. That's the bottom line. And then we do a sample data migration. This is typically for the testing, because if I migrate the data now, it will not be used because you are still using Navision. You are inserting more data. So this is just a sample data migration for testing and to make our converted instance ready for the user training. This data migration is not really a straightforward process, and it needs to go through a couple of steps. And how many steps we need to follow, that completely depends in which version of NAV you are. So first, I need to convert it to NAV 18. That is the last version Navision have. And then from the NAV 18 to the 2019 Business Central April version, that is Business Central 14. And from Business Central 14 to the latest version of Business Central. Right now, Business Central has a version number of 19.3. Just 19.3 is just released in last week. So that's a multiple process. It's not just a straightforward process, actually. And at the same time, let's say we also have migrated your customizations. Now, customizations itself can have some data. So for that data also, we create a sample data migration for those customizations as well. So when we go for a end user training, your end user will be very comfortable seeing their own data, whatever they are in the standard Navision, as well as their customized data, which they used to see in Navision, which will be also present in the newly created Business Central. So that's the data migration process. And then once this step is done, we go for a end user training. Now remember, all these steps are happening and there is no downtime from your end. You are still continuing Navision behind the scene. We are not disturbing your live environment in Navision. We are doing all these things in the background because we have not reached to that stage where we need to have a downtime and we need to finally move from your nav instance, close the nav instance and move to the Business Central. We have not reached that stage because your end users also need to be comfortable with the new system. So we have reached a situation where your customizations are migrated to the Business Central. A sample data migration we have done. So your Business Central, newly created Business Central instance have all the customizations, and it also have some sample data, most of your existing data, and they can see them, and they will be very comfortable with the system. That's the idea, making them comfortable with the system while training them. So we follow a concept called key user training. So we choose the key users and we train them extensively, and then in turn they train the rest of the end users. So that way they will be very proficient in Business Central. So subsequently, when it is handed over to you completely, your first level support mostly can be handled by your key users. So that's the way we follow, but not like that key user will give training, they will have some trouble, we are not there. No, not like that. We will be always there as a standby to help them during their training only, because it's a team. This is a team activity between you and our consultants. During this training, there can be situation, we may end up having some situation that, oh, this need to be done differently, or we have migrated something, but it's possibly not right. Those things will come out and we are going to correct them. We are going to manage those changes and we are going to correct them. And then the training will complete. So once the training is done, you are ready to go live. So if you see, we have done the customization migration, we have done the sample data migration, we did the testing, we did the training. Now you are doing the user acceptance testing. Now you have decided a cutoff date to start using Business Central. Around that cutoff date, we normally take that as a weekend so that your business does not get impacted and nobody is disturbed. So around that time, we shut down your Navision. Shut down means it not literally shut down. We actually migrate the data one final time to Business Central. And when your end user come back on the Monday after the weekend, they are ready to use Business Central. Your Navision instance will be there as it is, as a reference point. If you want to check something back in the system, you will be able to check that. It is not going to be destroyed. Now this is data migration. Once this is done, the concept is that it need to be migrated to Business Central on-premise first, and then if you have decided to move to the cloud, and then from then on-premise, Microsoft has a tool. It's called Intelligent Cloud, which help us from migrating data from the on-premise to the Business Central cloud, and that's the go live. And once you go live, we have a support mechanism, and that's MaxCare Hyper Support. You will be onboarded in that support tool and in our support environment. Subsequently, any confusion, any training required, any support you need, there will be an account manager for you, and they will help you to connect to the right person to solve the problem. Now that's the way we upgrade, and you could see a lot of things happens behind the scene. Good things is that you don't need to be bothered about most of the things except the training. You need to be Your key user also need to train the rest of the end user. That is one of the activities. And plus, after the cutoff date, you are going to use the new system. So literally, rest of the activities are going to happen behind the scene. Now, how to decide whether to go to the cloud or remain on-premise? So both has their positives, and I tried to list down those positives. That if you remain on-premise, you will get the 3 times of the existing user count at this moment. And if you go to cloud, you need to procure the license, but you will get a 60% discount. Now, just to mention here, this 60% discount at this moment is valid till end of June 2022. We expect maybe this can be extended, but at this moment, it is 60% is valid till end of June 2022. After that, there will be still a discount, still a promo till 23, end of June 23, and that's there you will get a 40% discount. So the discount percentage will come down actually. Now, what will be the difference between what are the other things difference between the on-premise and the cloud or SaaS? Now, if you remain on-premise, hosting is yours. You need to manage the hosting. So it can be self-hosted in your office. It can be third-party hosted or can be Azure hosted. So there is a cost for that. And obviously, just because you are hosting, managing it on your own, you will have some administration. So you need to manage the administration of the server as well. And you know, those who are in Navision, they know that you pay 16% of your license price as Brave every year annually to Microsoft. So you need to pay that Brave. So Brave will remain as it is. So those are the on-premise. You will get 3 times the license, but you still need to pay the Brave. You need to still manage your server and the hosting. Whereas if you go to the cloud, the infrastructure cost is included in the license. So you don't need to be bothered about the infrastructure. And in the modern days, in current situation, the hardware is very quickly getting obsolete, and because new concepts are coming in, and that way, just because the infrastructure, you will not be bothered about the infrastructure. That's a huge advantage if you move to the cloud. Plus, it will be hosted in the Microsoft facilities. Microsoft will manage. So it will be Microsoft administered. That's another great thing. So Microsoft gives a SLA of 99.7%, and if they cannot maintain that SLA, they can give you some service credit actually. So that is another good thing. As I said, that hardware is very frequently getting obsolete nowadays, but the moment you are in the cloud, you don't need to be bothered about those infrastructure risk. So it's a future-proof infrastructure. Plus, if you are in the cloud, your Business Central versions will be upgraded automatically. Here, there is a bit difference. If you are on premise, your Business Central instance need to be upgraded by your partner, but it will not be that costly. It will be a very small affair compared to a Navision upgrade. It just there can be a situation that you don't really need to spend any money on that, or you may spend very small sum on that. But if you migrate to cloud or SaaS, your versions will be upgraded automatically. So when we discuss with you with your upgrade case, normally we give you very transparently, we give you all the calculations and the return on investment calculations so that you can take a very informed decision whether to stay on premise or move to the cloud. And then once we decided everything, we carefully plan for your upgrade. Now, moving to our last point, everything is clear. How you know your license, it can be three. If you remain on-premise, you can have 3 times the license and all those things. If you move to the cloud, you get a 60% discount. And possibly the 40% you are paying, that will be less than you are paying for your Brave, your infrastructure cost, your administrative cost. So you are very clear about the licenses. Your customizations can be migrated to the new system, so your developments are safe. Your existing data can be migrated to the new system, so you don't need to be bothered about, okay, I will lose my existing data. No, you are safe. Your existing data can be migrated to the new system. Now, how much this cost? So there are a couple of factors that to calculate that cost, and I tried to explain this here in this slide. If you see, there are 2 dependencies. One is that how much customizations you have. The less customizations you have, the less cost will be there to convert them to a Business Central extensions. So that's one aspect. And as I said, we compare your customizations and give you a report showcasing all the customizations you have, and we discuss and confirm which one to carry forward to the new system and which one to drop. So that's one aspect of the cost. And another one aspect is the which versions you are in. The more earlier versions you are in, possibly the more number of data migration iterations we need to go through, and the conversion of the customizations to extensions will be complicated. So that's another aspect, which versions you are in. If you are in NAV 2015, 16, 17, then it's pretty simple. If you are in the earlier versions, NAV 2013 or the classic like 2009, then we need to analyze it further. Then that's another aspect. And second is the cost of license. Here, there is a typo is there. I have mentioned that there's a 40% discount. Actually, it's 60%. At this moment, it is 60% discount till end of June 2022. And post from the July 2022, you will still have a promo, but only the 40% discount. Now, this gives us an estimate of number of days, how many days we need to spend to upgrade your cost. Quite obviously, the end result, end cost will depend how much your partner charges, what is their daily rates and everything. So maybe we will be happy to provide and surprise you with our cost and daily rates. So if you can send us an email and we can give you all the details about that. As I said, if you give us an opportunity, we can actually analyze your instance and can give you a free object analysis and the cost analysis of your upgrade. We have done this several times for our existing customers. So if you want to see some references, you can always go to our website and see what our customers say about us on our website. Now, those who are new to Business Central, there are, besides Navision, if you are moving from Navision to the Business Central, many things are introduced in the Business Central. I'll just briefly explain a couple of points here about the Business Central, which is not there in earlier version of Navision, like say Teams, Microsoft Teams integration. So in last 2.5 years during pandemic, Team become like everybody's tool. Everybody is using it in all the organizations. So Business Central, you will be happy to know that Business Central is readily integrated with the team. You can share informations directly from the Business Central to team to your colleagues and communicate. And even directly in the teams, you can view certain data from the Business Central as well. So that way, it's a beautiful collaborative tool, collaborative way to use a Business Central. Besides that, It is tightly integrated with Microsoft Outlook. Now, how tightly it is integrated? Literally all sales and purchase activities like creating a quotations, converting the quotation to an order, and then subsequently creating an invoice, all those activities you can manage from within Outlook. That way it is done. What else? Even you can actually, like if your salespeople are having a meeting with a prospective customer, the interaction log also can be automatically generated either from the mail or from the Outlook meetings. And you also have a seamless integrations with applications like Power BI and the Power Apps. Those are the various external apps from the Microsoft ecosystem, which are very tightly integrated with the Business Central. So the Power BI is integrated with Business Central in such a way that if you have developed certain reports in Power BI, you don't need to open Power BI screen to view them. You can actually integrate and display the Power BI reports within the Business Central client itself. What else? You can access Business Central from anywhere in the world over the internet, from any operating system, whether you are using a Windows machine or a Mac or maybe Chrome browser, any kind of operating system. It is also, the app is also available for the tablet and the mobile, or any kind of operating system, whether it's an Android, Windows, or iOS, all apps are available. So you can use Business Central from anywhere in the world, from any device you are using. Still, Business Central, that's another part. The Business Central is offered on-premise as well as the cloud, so you can take an informed decision about that. And those who are in the UK, it is compliant with the GDPR, and it is also compliant with the HMRC to be with that initiative of making tax digital. But the most important thing is the change in the technology so that your future versions, your Business Central always remain upgraded automatically. You don't need to do anything actually. That's the change in the technology and the introduction of the concept of extension. That extension actually enables us to isolate the standard Business Central and our development and developed code or customizations completely separate. And just because we are able to isolate the base application and the customizations, Microsoft will be able to upgrade your versions automatically. So that's the concept of upgrade, and with the context that NAV 2017 is the support for the NAV 2017 is ended in 11 January 2022. And with all those promo, this is the right time to migrate from your existing NAV versions to Business Central. So that concludes our session. So we'll be happy to take any questions if you have. And also you can send the mail to us.
Thank you very much, Snehanshu. We have a few questions here sent in the chat section. The first one, it says, we're currently on premise. If we move to SaaS, can one easily move back to premise later if the experience isn't great?
Yes, there is a possibility, but you may face the complexity in terms of the licensing. Technologically, it is possible because you can take a backup of the Business Central live environment in the Azure blob storage. And then from there, you can download and restore it back to your local server. So that's a possibility. Otherwise, licensing will be a complexity, but you can check back. We also have a concept of hybrid usage of the Business Central. So, but that's a different concept. Hybrid is a different concept. But if you had gone to SaaS and then you want to move back, technically it is possible, but licensing will be a problem.
Okay, thank you. And the next one here says, are the on-premise hardware requirements of Business Central 19 comparable with NAV 2017? If not, the hardware cost would need assessing.
It will be more or less same. It will be similar, but unfortunately what happens, newer hardwares are coming in, newer way of, it all depends the disaster management you want to adopt to. So possibly if it is a small instance, and if your Business Central instance is going to remain that small, you are not going to like expand a lot of other users and everything. The hardware will be very similar. But as I said, as I mentioned in the earlier slides, that hardwares are getting obsolete very fast and newer technologies are coming into picture. So that way, after 5 years, you will always see that you need to change hardware. So that way, I always recommend to our customers to move to the cloud, and that way you will be safe. You'll be safe from the hardware concept because it will be taken care of the Microsoft, and you don't need to be bothered about it.
Great. Okay, thank you. And then another one here says, to gain the 60% discount by the end of June 2022, does the upgrade need to have been completed, or will in-progress upgrades be honored?
Yeah, so the 60%, yes, so that's a good point. And that's the good thing about this 60%. You need to take a decision before that. It can be on progress actually as well.
Great, thank you. So Snehandra, you're saying, just to check, so in progress upgrades, they'll still count, they'll still be acceptable?
Yeah, yes.
Great, that's excellent. Okay, and then another one here says, will I be able to know how much it would cost to upgrade without having to make a commitment in terms of costs and resources?
Absolutely, that's the thing we do. That's one of the good things we do. We analyze your objects, we come out with a report, we share it with you, we discuss it with you completely free of cost, and we give you an estimate, fixed cost estimate for the upgrade without having a commitment, and we do it free.
Perfect. Okay, and then another one here says, I have a multi-country environment. I can't upgrade all at the same time. Can I still get the 60% discount if I upgrade my system in the second country at a later stage?
You can. You can. So that's the 60%. The promo is called, you can search it in the internet as well. It is Bridge to Cloud. It's the name of the promo is called Bridge to Cloud, and it allows you that partially upgrading to Business Central and still using the innovation. That is also possibility, and still enjoy that discount. It is possible.
Okay, and then another question here says, what is possible with Business Central when it comes to third-party integrations?
That's a brilliant one. Business Central become extremely integration friendly. It itself has so many inbuilt integrations, like it has integrations, 5 different integrations with the Azure machine learning, which is inbuilt already there in the system, like say cash flow focused, sales and inventory focus, and so on. There are so many add-ons which has inbuilt integrations. Microsoft actually coming out with a native integration with the Shopify in this quarter. Microsoft had last year October, Microsoft has gone with a collaboration with the Shopify, because a lot of customers are from the e-commerce platform and they use Shopify. So those are the default integrations there. But if you see, all these integrations are possible because it has a backbone, integration friendly backbone. And because it has the concept of APIs, RESTful APIs, and OData v4 web services. So that way it is extremely integration friendly. And the time or the complexity we used to handle while integrating earlier version of Navision to any third-party software. Compared to that, Business Central integration of Business Central with any third-party software is very minimal, and it's extremely easy.
Another question here says, I assume the license is now annual. How long is the discount applicable for?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I believe I have not mentioned this point during our session. So the license is not, first of all, is not annual, it's monthly. So you pay the monthly fees and you can check the license pricing. And I can tell you if it is a UK pricing, the essential cost you £52.8 per user per month. And the premium licensing, those who are in the manufacturing industry, it will come around 58, around 60 kind of thing. So I exactly don't remember the latest price, but it's the monthly price. Till what date your discount? Yes, it's not infinite. Your discount will not be infinite. So 60% promo, if you go for it, it will be starts with 1 year and it can be extended for another 3 years. So that finally it can be for 4 years. So after 4 years, you actually move back to the list price. So you can enjoy this discount for 4 years. And after the end of June, when this bridge to cloud 60% discount goes, and you will have only the migrate to cloud 40% discount. If you go for that discount, that is only applicable for 3 years. Anything else there, Scott, there in the chat?
No new ones are coming in. I'm just having another quick scan to see if there's anything that any of them that have been skipped over.
Sure. Meanwhile, in the screen, you could see some of the email IDs are displayed. If we have not discussed something which is related to your queries, and if you have some queries, you can always welcome to send us a mail and we'll be happy to help you.
Oh, there's one last question just came through.
Okay, no problem. We're here.
It says, where can I find information about Shopify integration?
Okay. Not much is there because it's in the pipeline, but you can definitely see that news from the Microsoft newsletter, and you can search it in the Google, Microsoft D365 Business Central and Shopify integrations, and I'm sure it will come out. It is up there. It is launched, or you can say announced in October 2021. And it is also mentioned there that this integration will come in this first quarter of 2022. So we are expecting, in this context, I just want to mention that Business Central every year releases 2 major versions in the first week of April and in the first week of October. So we say wave 1 and wave 2 with the prefix of the year. So this year it will be 2022 wave 1 and 2022 wave 2. So we are expecting this in 2022 wave 1. But if you are very interested, just send a mail, send your email IDs. I can actually share you all those documentation.
Is there a video online of the order/invoice Outlook integration?
I'm not sure what that means. Do you mean by how to create order and invoicing from within Outlook? In that case, there are a lot of YouTube videos directly released from the Microsoft. The good part is that all the documentation that is there in the docs.microsoft.com are now open to public. It is no more restricted for the partners. Anybody can search and get it. So there is a hell lot of documentations and videos out there in terms of like order and invoicing done from Outlook and how they get integrated with the Business Central. They are there. But if you have a specific point, as I said, I didn't get it fully. If I misunderstood your requirement, just send us an email and I will suggest you the relevant documentations and videos.
Just like Snehanshu said, we'd be happy to discuss all this with you further, especially when it comes to integrating Business Central with other Microsoft solutions, because Microsoft solutions are much more effective and improve efficiency far more when they're working together with each other. For instance, Business Central and CRM and all the different tools within Power Platform. Okay, nothing else is coming through, so let's end the session here.
Perfect. Thanks all. Yep.
Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Snehanshu.